Exactly.
You forgot to promote what your T-shirt says.
Cheese curds.
Say cheese curds.
Squeaky cheese.
Exactly. Put them in the microwave 5 seconds, and it'll restore the squeak.
Okay.
I'm not being paid by the Cheese Council.
No, we should get them to sponsor us again next year, because you know that if the Wisconsin Dairy Council sponsored Sun and Fun Radio, that we would take payment in cheese curds.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
and ice cream in the afternoon.
There we go. Okay, so you're here, you're on the field. This is a Green Bay meets Florida. We got some Adirondack chairs. We got a little mock campfire going on. You're also hosting the people for years, that was the Airline Pilot Association check-in. And I actually saw a couple gentlemen there this morning looking through the books. We don't have the giant bulletin boards with the papers on them that we've had in the past, but you have check-in books for people. So if you're looking for the Airline Pilots Association check-in area, you stop by and see Miss Susan here at the Hold Short area, and you'll be able to check in. She'll have the books there to do that stuff.
Yep.
And now you sponsored us last year, and you decided, hey, this worked out pretty well, and we can't thank you enough. And I understand that we're tied in for a 2-year sponsorship.
Oh yeah, you're stuck with me.
No complaints.
Cannot
complaints
be
at all.
happier about that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sponsoring us. If they're here, again, right next to the radio station, on the internet, FLYGRB.com.
Correct.
FLYGRB.com. And we're glad you're here. You'll be here all week. We've got like you said, we've got the beanbag toss. I think we might have some ladder golf and some washer toss, so we're going to be able to set up as well. So something to do. The kids are getting a little bored. You want to keep them active. We got some stuff to keep the kids happy. If you're one of the first 6 people to show up, you get to get a nice Adirondack chair around the campfire to watch the air show with. So Susan Levitt, and I go look at her, Marketing Communications Manager for Austin Straubel Green Bay International Airport. We thank you so much for being our sponsor and for being here, and welcome to our family. Glad you're back again. I got to ask, though, do you have any dispatchers? Jack is feeling left out. We're talking about pilots, so we got to talk about flight dispatchers. So you have flight dispatchers there, too?
Sure.
There you go, Jack.
We'll get with Polk State and send a couple your way. How about that?
That's perfect.
They even use dispatchers in business aviation.
Yeah.
So you don't have to hang your hat at a 121 or 135 carrier to get a job in aviation and dispatching aircraft.
Absolutely.
And I remember talking to a friend a few years ago. He was just about to leave the Air Force after 20 years, and he'd been flying tankers. And he wanted to know if there was any jobs out there. And I said, "You're asking that in Wichita?"
Like anybody could find a career in aviation in Wichita. We're going to go to break. We will be back in 5 minutes. Thank you for listening to Sun and Fun Radio. Good morning, Sun and Fun. Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788, 1510 a.m. Lakeland. And on the web at liveatc.net/SNF is on the air live. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from Sun and Fun 22, the 48th annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, presented by the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. I am the volunteer chairman of Sun and Fun Radio, and my name is Dave Shellbitter. I am so glad all of you are out there listening, and I am so glad that I have my friends on deck this morning. Of course, we just figured out yesterday, 40-year fly-in brother, one of the voices in your head from the Uncontrolled Airspace General Aviation Podcast, Mr. Dave Higdon.
Good morning, Dave. Yes, it's another pair of Daves on the deck.
That's look out now, double trouble. We're also joined by a new volunteer who's been with us all week long, Jack Mason.
Good morning, Sun and Fun. Good morning, Dave. How are we all doing this morning?
You know, if I was any better, I'd have to be twins. I had a trip waffle, got my day started right, got the sugar rush kicking in.
And a smile on your face.
But I have to say that we have to label the coffee pots better, because I got some kind of flavored yuck that probably comes from California or
Macchiato,
something.
hazelnut with a dash or something.
Who knows? But extra double skinny fat latte maco, whatever they call them. I just give me black coffee with cream and sugar. I'm fine. And we are joined, first time on air, second-year volunteer here at the station, well-known here at Sun and Fun, well-known in the aviation community. Last year he was with us doing field reporter, and now this year I've grabbed him and said, you're going to be a live on air radio, famous in your own mind radio personality just like me, Mr. Randy Bibb. Welcome to the deck.
Hey, thank you, guys. It's great to be here. Flew in yesterday through all those storms.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, started about 9 a.m. and dodged storms the entire way here, but I'm glad to be here.
Now, were you flying the Phenom, or
No,
what were you flying through that
No,
stuff?
I just flew a Baron.
You flew the Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were telling me about your stable. I'm pretty impressed. You've got like a lot of toys at your fingertips to play with.
Yeah, thanks.
But that's you're one of the people, those people that actually fly and get paid for it. Right?
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, every morning he just sits down, he puts on his headset, and he looks at his little mirror in the cockpit and says, and I'm getting paid for this. So this year I put out, before the fly-in started, I put out a call on our Sun and Fun Volunteers Facebook group and said, we're looking for volunteers to interview on the radio station. Our next guest is somebody that jumped up and said, hey, I want to do this. Welcome, Jessica Spath. Pronouncing that right?
Yes, you are. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jessica. Hi. Let's bring the microphone a little bit closer so people can hear you. There we go. All right. So now, Jessica, you are a volunteer, and it's got here at Maine Registration.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is my 6th year being out here, but my 2nd year as a co-chair with the Maine Registration area, and just felt like this was a great opportunity to recognize all the volunteers that come out in all of the areas and make this show as successful as it is every year. So thank you for having me.
Oh, no. Thank you very much for coming up, taking time out of your day to come up and see us. Now, as a co-chair of Maine Registration, now that's Maine Registration, the Octagon booth up on the where you deal with the general public walking in to buy tickets and stuff?
Yes. So the admissions area where all the ticket sales happen, and then we have a few outlier satellite buildings on the campus that we support as well. So banks going out every day, tickets, programs, guides, all of the above, that kind of thing.
Now, Maine Registration, and folks, you have to understand, Sun and Fun is divided up into various areas. So we've got, and with registration, there's more than just the Maine Registration. We have now you guys deal with mobile registration falls under you.
Yes. Yep.
But give me an example of another registration maybe that doesn't fall under your specific Maine Registration header. It would be the aircraft camping or that kind of stuff. They're all their own people.
Yes. So we have lots that fall under us that we support again with. They come to us for the money. So camping registration, we've got a west gate, we've got an east trailer on the east side of the airport where we catch the people in rental cars, Uber drop-offs, that kind of thing, or who just get directed out there through their GPS, that kind of thing. Then we've got mobile reg, we've got camper registration. We also, before the fly-in even starts, send out like credit card machines and sales to Tampa, Executive, Winter Haven, Zephyr Hills. So there's a lot to it. And again, we support a lot of other little areas as well. So
great. Well, thank you for filling me in on that. Now, let's talk about Jessica for a minute. You said this is your 6th year volunteering?
Yes,
so
sir.
Did you start like when you were, 10?
No, not quite.
What brought you here to volunteer?
So oddly enough, I've lived here since I was 11, and this Sunday, I'll turn 28, and I had no idea about Sun and Fun until I was in college.
Wow.
A professor of mine introduced me to Tracy.
Yep.
With
Tracy Neal,
Tracy
Sun and
Neal?
Fun CFO,
Yes,
extraordinaire.
exactly. Yes.
The lady who has brought us into the black, and we have to recognize Tracy for everything fantastic she's done for us. So thank you for Tracy. Now, so
Yes.
your professor
No, that's
introduced you to
okay.
Tracy,
Yep.
and
And I actually started volunteering in the museum outside of the fly-in, and then that just proceeded into making connections with, at the time, Jane Kimball
Yep.
and Sharon. They were the co-chair and chairman team at Maine Registration, and then that started it, and last year was my first year as a co-chair, so...
So how many years did you your volunteer job, the whole 6 years you volunteered for the fly-in, has always been with registration?
Yes, it has.
And so I'm guessing it was 4 years as a volunteer, and then you stepped up to be a co-chairman. What led to you becoming a co-chairman?
So With the pandemic, there was a shift in the management team, if you will, of chairmen and co-chairs within Maine registration. So a new team kind of had to be put together on a whim. And my current chairman, I had been volunteering with him for a few years, and he could see some characteristic traits. You know, we deal with a lot out there, and it's heavily changing within seconds. So, I just got asked, and I thought, what an awesome opportunity to just grow further than I already have with that group. So, yeah.
And you said the main chairman. Who? Please tell us.
Sure thing.
Shout out to your boss.
Yes. So shout out to Jim Albrand, the chairman of Maine Registration.
And thank you, Jim, for giving Jessica a chance. And I'm assuming you came back for a second year as co-chair, so you're doing it well. You're doing well.
I hope so. Yeah, we're ever improving, always learning. Adapting to everything. So last year was very interesting with all of the numbers, and I can only see that doubling, if not passing double this year since borders are open. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, we knew people wanted to get out last year, Things were relaxing and becoming a bit safer to go out of your home, and out here you can enjoy everything that you need outside. And now borders are open, people can travel, there's no restrictions, and so I can see that crowd level just going crazy this year. So we're ready, and we're excited, and we're happy that they're on their way.
Oh, and we're happy that you're here. We got just shy of 2 minutes left. Real quickly, Jessica, outside of Sun and Fun, you were in college. What did you go to college for?
Sure. So I went to Florida Southern here in Lakeland, and I majored in a business administration degree.
Okay. Great
Yep.
position, great education for doing the job you do. Are you working in your chosen educated path?
Sort of, yes. So I work for the city of Lakeland. I just hit 5 years, and while I'm volunteering here, I then turn around and go to work. So
well, thank you very much for covering that.
Yep.
You're lucky that you're local and you actually can work and still come out and volunteer.
Yes.
Do you do other volunteer gigs through the year, or do you pretty much stick with Sun and Fun now?
Yeah, it's pretty much just Sun and Fun. My niece and nephew are local and go to Lincoln Avenue, and I do some things throughout the year with them too.
Cool.
Very low level, and so yeah.
Okay, Jessica Spath, who is the co-chairman of Maine Registration. Jessica, thank you so much for taking time out, and thank your chairman and Miss Tracy for letting you run away for a few minutes.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to add? We got about 30 seconds left. Anything you want to add?
Nope. Honestly, just thank you to all the volunteers. Sometimes you don't get to see what goes on behind the closed curtain, and we all make it happen. So.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
So, Miss Jessica Spath, co-chairman of Maine Registration, another one of our volunteers. We're actually getting into the next generation of volunteers. And so now, is this somebody you know, Jack? Because you seem to know everybody around here.
I just met this beautiful young lady this morning, so thank you for your volunteer work out here. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to go to some announcements, and we will be back with another outstanding interview. Take us to announcements.
Sun and Fun thanks our official ice cream sponsor, Dairy Queen North Lakeland, located at 4710 U.S. Highway 98 North in Lakeland. It's a fresh new building with a retro look and feel where you can stop in for some hot eats and cool treats, including my personal favorite, the Blizzard.
Welcome back, Sun and Fun Radio. For those of us at home, those of us not at home, I'll get a chair ready, liveatc.net/